What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Green Day Live Retrospective. In the last episode, I looked at all the concerts that Green Day played during their Dookie era, which only consisted of 1 year, 1994. But as you can see from that video's length, that 1 year gave me a lot to talk about. And the initial plan for that video was going to be me looking at both the Dookie and Insomniac eras, but once the last episode went over 2 hours, I decided to just dedicate that video to the Dookie era, and move the Insomniac era to this episode. So consider this sort of a supplement episode because it's not going to be as long as the previous one, but there's still a pretty decent amount of stuff during 1995 to 1996 that I want to highlight. Plus, I do like the idea of separating both Dookie and Insomniac, because while Dookie was this huge monumental album, Insomniac was a pretty damn good album.
Insomniac, that record was us wanting to get into the studio and prove that we are not one-hit wonders, and we wanted to record just a down and dirty punk record. I love that album. It has a sound. It's a unique sound for Green Day records. It's got teeth. I know a lot of people who that's their favorite Green Day record. It's a barn burner.
Going straight to 1995, there's not going to be as many shows for me to cover, mainly because they actually played half the amount of shows as they did in 1994. Though before I get to the live concerts and performances and whatnot, it should be noted that between December 1994 and May 1995, Green Day would pretty instantly begin working on their next album, which would end up being Insomniac, which would get released in October of 95. Remember how for Dookie it took about 30 years for all the B-sides and outtakes to be officially released? Well, when it came for every song recorded during the Insomniac sessions, they would all see official releases on either Insomniac itself or as B-sides, meaning most of the other tracks would end up appearing on the Shenanigans compilation album in 2002. Though there was one song from the sessions released as a single before Insomniac was out, and this was Jar, Jason Andrew Relva, literally one of the best Green Day songs of all time, written by Mike Dirnt about a close friend of his named Jason Andrew Relva, who tragically passed away in a car crash. And of course, Jar would be included on the 2001 International Super Hits album. It's a very beautiful song, and I recommend listening to it if you haven't.
I think it's alright that I do what I like, 'cause that's the way I wanna live. It's all I give, and I'm taking.
However, there's one specific B-side from the Insomniac sessions that I don't think a lot of people really know about. Included on specific Brain Stew and Jaded singles in 1996, it was a little song that was known as Good Riddance, the same song that would later appear on Nimrod. Except, it's not the same. Yeah, for some of you who don't know the backstory behind this pretty iconic Green Day song, Good Riddance was apparently written during the production of Dookie, but a version of it wouldn't get recorded until the Insomniac sessions. And this is the version of the song that would end up being included on that Brain Stew Jaded single in 96, a full year before it got heavily reworked for Nimrod, and of course became the huge hit version of the song that we all know and love. Unfortunately, it's not on streaming services, and it was sadly left off the Nimrod 25th Anniversary Edition too. But then again, it was recorded during the Insomniac sessions, so I guess if they do yet another Insomniac reissue in the future, hopefully it could include more demos and outtakes like this version of Good Riddance. Obviously, even though it's super overplayed, I still prefer the final version of Good Riddance we got on Nimrod, but I still really like this early version of the song. It's super interesting, and I'd recommend looking it up if you've never heard it before. At the same time, could you imagine if they decided to not rework the song and it just stayed as this obscure B-side track? Imagine that timeline.
So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life.
But moving on, the first performance I'll look at in 1995 actually happened for Top of the Pops again, though there's two differences about this performance. One, it's not in England. It apparently took place at the Fillmore in San Francisco, California. And two, they're not miming. The boys are actually playing a song this time, recording a performance of Basket Case. And it's pretty kick-ass like before. There exists 2 different takes that they taped for the performance. What you just saw was the first take that aired, but a second take of Basket Case for this performance was released by the Oakland Coffee House, which is Mike's coffee company, and they would release this footage in April 2021. While the first take is really solid, I'm actually a little shocked they didn't use the second take because it sounds absolutely perfect.
Do you have the time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything all at once? I am one of those melodramatic fools. They're right into the bum, no doubt about it.
Seeing how it's Top of the Pops, it almost makes you think they're lip syncing, but no. That is pure raw live Green Day in their prime. I definitely recommend watching the second take because it's fucking incredible. Probably the best live performance of Basket Case ever.
Grasping to control, so I better hold on.
Next, I'm gonna highlight a non-live performance. On February 3rd, 1995, the Jerky Boys movie came out. I never saw it, and I don't know who the Jerky Boys are or why they got a movie, but I'm focusing on the movie's soundtrack, because it featured 2000 Light Years Away from Kerplunk. But it's not the same version from the album. Pretty bizarrely enough, this version of 2000 Light Years Away on the Jerky Boys soundtrack exclusively features a new audio mix done by the late Jerry Finn, who was an audio engineer for Dookie, Insomniac, and other Green Day stuff. He also did audio mixing for other bands like Blink-182, The Offspring, Sum 41, and many more. I'm guessing Jerry somehow had access to the original Lookout Records master tapes, which I don't know if you guys know about this. Those master tapes are fucking missing, like they're just gone. Billy, Mike, and Trey can't even find them. So it's pretty incredible that Jerry was even able to make this. It is a fucking great version of the song too.
I sit alone in my bedroom, staring at the walls. I've been up all damn night long. My pulse is beating, my love is shining. I hold my breath and close my eyes and I dream about her because she's 2,000 light years away.
Seriously, before the official BBC Sessions live track, this used to be my favorite version of 2000 Light Years Away, and it really makes me wish Jerry Finn could have remastered all the other Lookout Records songs too, because this version of the song sounds phenomenal. It's just sad that he passed away way too soon. We could have got even more cool shit like this. I'm still grateful for all the work he contributed for Green Day, and many other punk bands that I love, so rest in peace, Jerry.
I sit alone in my bedroom, staring at the walls. I've been up all damn night long. My pulse is beating, my love is shining. I hold my breath and close my eyes and dream about her because she's 2,000 light years away.
So the Insomniac tour wouldn't really start until later on in 1995, but a couple months before the tour, the boys would perform 2 shows at the Henry J. Kaiser Convention Center in Oakland, California on May 27th and 28th. Both shows got recorded by fans, but only the May 27th show has video, which is what I'll be highlighting. There is audio of the May 28th show, so you can look it up if you're interested. They have very similar set lists though. The video recording is pretty solid, though it is a bit damaged during the first 2 songs, which were 2000 Light Years Away and Armitage Shanks. But by the 3rd song, it does get better, and it's a pretty solid show with a pretty nice mix of Dookie and Insomniac songs in the set, along with 39 Smooth. But what's pretty noteworthy about this concert is that it gave us the first known live performances of 2 Insomniac songs. The first one being Brat, which is one of my favorites. Yep, I'm back to saying that again.
This song's about waiting for your parents to die so you can get your inheritance.
The other Insomniac song that's debuted here for the first time is Jaded. It's super fast paced and I really like it. Again, the rest of the concert's pretty solid, and they even close the show with Going to Pass L'Aqua, which is a great performance like before, so I'd recommend checking this concert out if you're interested. Same with the audio recording of the May 28th show. Jumping a bit ahead in 1995, I'm going to be taking a look at Green Day's first ever Reading Festival concert, which took place in Reading, England on August 25th. Thankfully, the entire show was filmed by a fan in the crowd, and there's also an audio recording, but it doesn't really sync up with the video very well. I also don't think it sounds that great, so I'll mainly just stick to using the video source. However, the most disappointing thing about this concert for me, it's that there's very little pro shot footage. There are clips of Longview and Chump, and there's even a short clip for Jaded that was released, but it doesn't seem like there's any more footage of the show in pro shot form, which is a shame because it's a really fun concert, and if there is better video footage of it, I'd love for it to get released at some point. I did compile all the best sources together and made my own video on Ultimate Spidey, so I'll put a link to that below. Starting at the beginning, Billy talks to the crowd pretty frequently, and weirdly keeps referring to Reading as Cleveland throughout the show.
Hello, Cleveland! Boy, it sure is nice being here in Cleveland.
Is that an inside joke I'm missing? Anyways, they open the concert with Welcome to Paradise. After that, they play Jaded on its own, when it's usually supposed to be paired with Brain Stew like it is on the album. But it's still a really fun and fast-paced song. It even has a short pro shot clip too. After that, Billy talks to the crowd some more, and decides to dedicate Chump to some random audience member. Chump is one of the only songs that has a decent pro shot clip, and the pro shot itself even mislabels the song as Chop. But regardless, it's a pretty great clip, and I wish we had more of it. After that, Chump goes right into Longview, which also has a pro shot clip. Sounds great like before, and there's even a bit where Billy spits on the cameraman. Apparently, he really hated being filmed back then.
I sure as hell can't do it by myself.
Poor cameraman, he's just doing his job. Most of the set is the usual Dookie set list, but 2 other songs from Insomniac that make an appearance are Geek Stink Breath and Armitage Shanks.
The song's called Geek Stink Breath.
After Armitage Shanks, the boys start playing their Knowledge cover, but Billy stops playing midway through the song because there was an issue going on with the crowd.
Stop, hold on a fucking second. Somebody's getting hurt. You guys gotta wait 1 second, alright? This is bullshit. Alright, time and test, back the fuck up! Time and test, back up! Back up! Someone is getting trampled on. Just back up for 1 second. Please, thank you very much. Don't make me come out there and beat you all up. See how strong I am?
And as the crowd issues were getting sorted out, Billy randomly starts singing John Lennon's Give Peace a Chance as a joke. I love how they care about their fans enough to make sure they're safe.
All we are saying is kill a hippie.
Thankfully, the rest of the show goes off without an issue, and Billy goes into playing 2,000 Light Years Away. Then they play Basket Case, She, and Fuck Off and Die. After Fuck Off and Die, they play Knowledge again, and thankfully it goes off without a hitch. And they even extend the song by playing covers of Eye of the Tiger, We're Not Gonna Take It, and Master of Puppets.
Don't you guys know who the fuck Twisted Sister is?
And then they play Paper Lanterns. And you can probably guess how this performance went. No crowd issues, but they still extend the song by several minutes, and work in Frank Sinatra's My Way and the Mickey Mouse Club theme again. For the encore, they play When I Come Around, and it's just as good as before. And they end the show with Road to Acceptance. And that was Green Day's first ever Reading Festival concert. It's a fun show, and I'm happy we have full recordings of it, but I really do hope more pro shot footage of it pops up in the future. If possible, a DVD release would be cool, but until then, go check out this concert in any way you can. Thankfully, Green Day comes back to the Reading Festival multiple times, and they absolutely crush it each time.
Everybody fight! No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. You don't want to do that. On the count of 3, everybody say, "Go home, Yankee fuck." 1, 2, 3.
The next concert happened at the Lowlands Festival in Hala, Netherlands on August 27th. It's a great soundboard recording taken from a radio broadcast, but sadly the person who recorded it only captured the last 6 songs, so the full concert sadly isn't available. It's quite a shame, and I do hope the full concert pops up in the future, but the songs we do have sound really good, which are 2,000 Light Years Away, Knowledge, Basket Case, She, When I Come Around, and Jaded. Unfortunately, 2,000 Light Years Away sorta awkwardly cuts in, but the recordings for the other songs are fine.
In silence, a solid riot penetrated through her mind. Waiting for a time, such special silence with the brink of self-control. I heard it all before. Such a knocked at my door. I'm a loser and the user, so I don't need every teacher. Just clients like me down because I know you're right.
Jaded is such an interesting last song to play. Like, it's not exactly a closer, but it always sounds good live.
Rise no forward, go and shape or get you nowhere. There is no progress, evolution out at all. About my voice and her.
Yeah, this was sort of a quick one I wanted to recommend, but it's mainly due to the fact that the full show isn't available. And I also wanted to highlight a concert at this venue because 6 years after this show, my favorite band System of a Down would play a pretty amazing show at the same festival. And thankfully, unlike Green Day, System of a Down's full Lowlands concert was broadcast on television. It's a shame Green Day's Lowlands concert didn't get the same treatment, but I guess go check out the radio broadcast recording because it's all we really have of the show. It sounds really good, and I do hope the full thing pops up in the future.
I'm sitting all over my bedroom, staring at the walls. I've been out all till night long. My phone's put in, my love is shining. Now my perfect close my eyes in. I dream of it, because she's 2,000 light years away.
The next concert I'll look at thankfully has a full recording, and it took place in Stockholm, Sweden on September 2nd. Fans recorded the full show in audio and video form, though the video source did miss a few songs, but the audio source managed to capture the full show. And thankfully, this show would end up getting 7 official live tracks, which were included on the Foot and Mouth EP, and singles for Stuck With Me. And the first song, Going to Pass L'Aqua, is the first live track from the show, and it's a great performance. The next live track was Chump, which was a great performance. Longview got played after it, but for some reason they didn't release it as a live track. That's a little strange. After Longview, they played Stuck With Me, one of my favorite songs from Insomniac. And not only did this song get a live track, but pro shot footage of it was broadcast on the 1995 MTV Music Video Awards, being broadcast through what was known as the spit cam, mainly because Billy was advising the crowd to just spit on the cameraman as they were filming. What the fuck is his obsession with spitting on cameraman? Jesus Christ, Billy, they're just doing their jobs. Regardless, it's a great performance of Stuck With Me. After Stuck With Me is another song that also got a live track, Geeks Stink Breath. The rest of the show is only available in the audience recording, which is still a really solid recording, but we wouldn't get the rest of the live tracks until the last 3 songs. And one of them ended up being for Dominated Love Slave? Yeah, they gave this song a live track but not Longview? Kinda crazy when you think that Dominated Love Slave probably has more live tracks than fucking 86.
Won't be your dominated love slave. Won't be the one who takes the pain. You can spank me when I do not behave. Smack me in the forehead with a chain.
After that, they play When I Come Around, and the live track for it sounds great. And once again, they close the show out with Jaded, which is yet another great performance. I guess it should also be noted that Green Day are pretty notorious for how they play their songs really fast live. They do kinda tone it back in the later years, but back in the mid-90s, they played this shit fast. It's kind of exhilarating, and it's always fun when we get official live tracks from this era. And that was their Stockholm, Sweden show in September 95. It's a really fun show, and with the abundance of live tracks that got released, I highly recommend checking it out. And I hope maybe at some point an anniversary reissue could maybe release the full show. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Getting right to October of 95, on October 10th, Insomniac was released. It sold pretty well, but nowhere near the numbers that Dookie did. Insomniac is considered by a lot of fans to be their favorite album, and while it's not one of my personal favorites, whenever I do revisit it, I always find different songs on it that I end up liking more. There's a lot of underrated gems on this album. Stored in the Avenue is my personal favorite. I also like Bab's Uvula Who. Panic Song is insane, and I kinda hope we get a live recording of it released in the future, if Mike Dirnt is telling the truth that they did play it. Brain Stew is iconic. Jaded is fast-paced and fun. Westbound Sign is really cute. I love Stuck With Me. Brad is a personal favorite. And Walking Contradiction's great. It's a really great album and probably the best follow-up Dookie could have ever gotten, and I recommend listening to it. Also, Brain Stew appeared on the Godzilla 1998 soundtrack, where it was just Brain Stew but with an orchestra and Godzilla roaring every now and then. Pretty chaotic. Go listen to it if you haven't.
My mouth is dry.
Getting back to looking at full concerts, one that I'll highlight is the Maple Leaf Garden concert, which fittingly took place in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, on October 25th. The full show was recorded by 2 different fans, and I made my own 2-cam edit of it on Ultimate Spidey. They're pretty solid recordings, and this concert has a lot more Insomniac songs added to the set list. play the usual songs we've seen before, but in terms of new songs they play, this concert gives us the first decent recording of them performing a huge fan favorite, 86. A song that was inspired by how Green Day were on a band list at 924 Gilman Street, with other bands included on an 86 list. In that regard, it's a fucking great song and one of the most punk things Green Day's ever put out. They closed the show out with Jaded again, but I find it weird that Brain Stew just hasn't made any appearances yet, which is interesting because that ended up being one of the most popular songs on Insomniac, but I guess it will pop up later. But it's still a pretty fascinating part of this era to see Jaded close out the shows. That was the Maple Leaf Garden concert. Go check it out if you were interested. Next is going to be another concert also in Canada. This took place at the Montreal Forum in Montreal, Canada, just 2 days later on October 27th. Yeah, you Canadian Green Day fans are getting a double feature. The full concert was recorded by a fan, but sadly the video recording here isn't too amazing. The image is pretty dark and the audio is a bit more muffled, but it's still watchable, though there does exist pro shot clips of Armitage Shanks, but the audio there isn't too much better either. Yeah, a lot of the same songs from last time are played, which also includes 86. It's always fun to hear that song live. But there is a reason I wanted to highlight this show, and that's because it included the first known live performance of a new Green Day song, well, at the time, which is No Pride. Not one of my favorite songs from Insomniac, but it's still really good, and it's nice to see deep cuts like this get played live. It's super fucking rare, especially during this era. And that's really all I have to say about this Montreal concert, so go check it out if you're curious. And if No Pride is one of your favorite Insomniac songs and you wondered if they ever played it live, then there you go. The next performance I'll highlight is the band's second appearance on David Letterman. Oh, poor Letterman. But anyways, they perform 86. That's right, a pro shot recording of them playing this song on TV. That is fucking awesome.
What brings you around? Did you lose something the last time you were here? You never find it now. It's parenting with your identity.
Well, after the performance, Trey goes for a swim. Honestly, good for him. And probably one of the tamest things he's done on the Letterman show. So yeah, great performance of 86. Go check it out. It kicks ass.
There's no return from 86. There's no return from 86. There's no return from 86. Don't live and cry.
The next concert I'll highlight is one that happened in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on November 21st. The show's available in an audio recording, which sounds okay, but it sadly didn't capture the first song, which was Armitage Shanks. It's a really great set list this time around, a nice mixture of Dookie and Insomniac. This concert also gives us the first real good recording of Brain Stew being played before Jaded, just like on Insomniac. Brain Stew is one of my all-time favorite Green Day songs, so I'm glad they finally put it on the set list.
Like the trouble trying to swim. I'm counting sheep but running around. As time ticks by, still I try. No rest for concepts in my mind. Oh, I know it right now.
And since they can't really use Jaded as the closing song, they close the show with 86, which is awesome. Though Brain Stew and 86 are not the main reasons why I'm highlighting this show. This Milwaukee concert was pretty infamous for how at one point during the show, Billy would moon the audience and would get arrested shortly after the concert. He would discuss the arrest in a future interview.
So you were arrested. Now it's something that I've seen you do many times on stage. What was different about this time?
I did it in Milwaukee. I wasn't doing it to like be offensive, or I was doing it to just make people laugh, you know. And I dropped my pick, and then while I was just bending over to pick it up, I was like, "Oh, what the hell?" And I moved the audience, and I even forgot I even did it. And then I go backstage, and I was hanging out with my wife, and then this big guy comes in, this guy Jimmy, who works security for us on the road. He comes in, he goes, "You got to get out of here right now. There's a car waiting for you." So I go out there, I get in the car, and I was like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "I have no idea." And I get in the car, and all of a sudden, all these cops start surrounding the car, and they go, "Could you step out of the car, please?" And then, like, as soon as they saw the cops come around the car, and I was like, "Oh man, I pulled my pants down." And it's like right there, it's like, "Run!" Gleam. Yeah.
Could Billy just keep his damn clothes on, for the love of God? With that said, seeing how 1994 ended with nude Billy, I think it's pretty safe to end 1995 with Billy showing his ass. So I'm gonna go straight to 1996. Just like what happened last time, the boys would play half the amount of shows compared to 1995. And the first one I'll highlight kinda quickly is one that took place in Tokyo, Japan on January 27th. I'm looking at it briefly because sadly the full show isn't available, but 5 official live tracks for it were released. These included Basket Case, She, and even Dominated Love Slave being released on the Bowling 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 Parking Parking EP.
Shoulder riot penetrating through her mind. Wait, make for a time. So smash in silence with the brink of
When I Come Around was included on the Foot and Mouth EP. And weirdly enough, Brat was released on a Minority single in 2000, 4 years after the fact. Whatever, I'll take it.
Mom and Dad don't look so hot these days again.
And, okay, look, I'm not trying to be a killjoy, but why the fuck does Dominated Love Slave have more than one live track? They played 86 at this show. Why didn't they release that as a live track? Why Dominated Love Slave? Oh well, whatever. These 5 live tracks sound really great, and I recommend looking them up or tracking them down, because so far they're the only recordings we have of this concert. So here's hoping the full thing surfaces someday, maybe for a potential Insomniac reissue? Who knows?
Well, now I'm on 'cause I'm dead and gone and I'm going nowhere back. I would run someone down, but it's all figured out. Well, nothing good can last.
Next, I'm gonna highlight a quick TV appearance they made on Jay Leno, which took place on February 22nd. The boys would play Brain Stew, but not Jaded? A bit strange, but it's a good performance and I recommend it. And that's pretty much all I got to say about it.
Mindset on overdrive. The clock is laughing in my face. The crooked spine, sense it dulled. That's a part of delirium. On my own, here we go.
Alright, the next performance I'm going to be looking at is the second set of BBC Live tracks. And unlike the 1994 recording, all 5 songs from the set got released. These included Brain Stew, Jaded, Walking Contradiction, Stuck With Me, and Geek Stink Breath. They're all great performances like before.
Crooked spine, senses dulled. That's the point of delirium. On my own, here we go. Somebody came up now, time to go falling down. And now it's in regression. The expiration date, after they come in there. Let's leave it maybe entering. Always go forward, going straight will get you nowhere. Cast down, buried in a hole. Struck down, forks they made of fall. Take choice, give and let the fight. Well, I know I'm not alright.
I especially really like the Walking Contradiction live track. It's a pretty rare song to hear live, so I'm glad we have this.
I have no belief, but I believe I'm a walking contradiction, and I ain't got no right.
Oh yeah, I guess one thing to note about the BBC Live Sessions album, the songs appear to be placed out of order on the track list. I don't know why they did that, but whatever. Check out the BBC Live Sessions album because it's great, and I hope we continue getting more fun live material like this in the future.
What I know what I want, and it's all that I got, and I'm bigger to bump my
The next performance happened on March 13th, which was a hanging out taping they did for MTV Europe Studios. Brain Stew, Jaded, and Walking Contradiction were played, with Brain Stew and Jaded being broadcast on MTV, and they're really tight performances like before.
No rest for crowd stops in my mind. On my own, here we go. motherfucker. Somebody came up and something up on it up. Until I say regression. The exploration is they condemn. And so they make entering.
Walking Contradiction did air on a different broadcast, which eventually popped up online, and it would even get uploaded by Oakland Coffee House. Just a nice little performance for you guys to go check out. Next is a performance that a lot of fans can't really pin down when it took place. It did happen in March of '96, and it took place at Hotel Babylon in Birmingham, England. There's thankfully a pro shot recording of it, where they played about 5 songs, with most of the set being Insomniac songs, which we do have full recordings of, and they're excellent performances.
I feel like they're gonna bleed. Because I shed so deep you can't run away. I beg to differ on the contrary. Agree with every word that you say. Talk is cheap and lies are expensive. My wallet's fed and so is my head. Then and run and then I'll hit you again. A smart ass but I'll play again.
However, the boys also played Basket Case, but they played a more jazz-oriented version of the song. It actually sounds kinda nice, but we sadly don't have a full recording of it, since only small clips from the performance got released.
I am one of those melodramatic fools. Neurotic to the...
As you can see, Green Day have gone back down to the ballroom where they are warming up for their second half performance.
So while it's a shame we don't have the full performance, I still recommend looking it up because the band did a really fun interview. It's probably one of the funniest interviews the boys have ever done. So definitely go give the full thing a watch if you haven't.
I mean, your whole lifestyle must be completely different to, say, 3 years ago when you were, as I said, struggling.
We don't have very high standards of living. You know, I still
Seven
won't
Ferraris,
pay
one for
more
each
than
day of the
$5
week.
for a pair of pants.
Do you think that, I mean, your music's very angry, your lyrics are very angry.
Because we're so damn pissed. And I don't mean drunk. We're
Yeah,
so upset.
every
We're so
song
mad.
on our next record's gonna be really happy. It's like, I'm so damn happy.
Come on, get happy.
Why are you so angry?
Get happy.
I'm so fucking happy I could cry.
I've got to ask you one last thing before I leave you to it. Spitting. What's this famous gob exchange thing? I have to ask you about that. Oh, no, I don't want to spit with you myself. I just want to see you guys do it to each other.
Oh, okay.
Because it sounds really
We
impressive.
know what you're getting around to now.
Oh, sure, sure.
You want to see action on this bed.
Yeah.
The next show I'll highlight is the last real concert of the video, but it's not the last thing I'll be looking at. This is the Prague concert in Czech Republic on March 26th. Unfortunately, the full concert isn't available, which I find a little frustrating, mainly because several live tracks for it were originally released on the Foot and Mouth EP, along with the Bowling Bowling Parking Parking EP, and there was even a live track on a Minority single, and special editions of Warning. But then in 2021, the 25th anniversary edition of Insomniac came out, which included a lot of the same live tracks, added 2 more, but also excluded 1. You see, the 25th anniversary edition of Insomniac is pretty good, but in comparison to, say, the 25th anniversary of Nimrod and the 30th anniversary edition of Dookie, along with the upcoming 20th anniversary edition of American Idiot, this reissue of Insomniac was really lacking. I think the 2 biggest missed opportunities with it was that there were no demos, and for whatever reason they didn't release the full Czech Republic concerts. So it was a really huge missed opportunity. But I guess we'll just have to cross our fingers and just hope the 30th anniversary of Nimrod gives us the full show. But if there is one positive I'll give to Insomniac's anniversary release, when they uploaded the live tracks to their YouTube channel, they were also accompanied with work print pro shot footage. So thankfully every live track except one had has video footage. Just about every Insomniac song from this concert was released. The songs played were Armitage Shanks, Rat, Geek Stink Breath, Stuck With Me, Brain Stew Jaded, along with Walking Contradiction and 86. It's great to have live tracks and pro shot footage of all these songs, but there was one other song that was released as a live track, which the anniversary release of Insomniac completely left off, probably because it wasn't an Insomniac song. It was Fuck Off and Die, which was included on the Foot and Mouth EP. While I can kind of understand why they decided to leave this live track off the album, I still think it was a really stupid move. They really should have just released the entire show. After Jaded, they played 2000 Light Years Away, but the full performance was never released. However, in August 2023, on the Green Day TikTok account of all places, a short clip from the performance was uploaded, and it appears to be taken from the same pro shot source, with the timecode being covered by the name of the song, which sort of adds more credence to the fact that the show was probably fully recorded, but just wasn't released in its entirety. That's so weird, and also extremely random of the TikTok account to just upload. Like, what else does the social media team have access to that they don't want to release? For the 86 live track, I'm pretty sure it's the only live track the song ever got, and it's the live track that was included on the Minority single and the special edition of Warning. That version of the live track was also like a minute and a half shorter, but it was extended on the 25th anniversary edition in Nimrod, mainly because it was the closing song for the show. I'm glad they officially released this. It's a great performance. And that's all of this concert I could really talk about. I hope at some point they release the entire thing, because looking at the full set list, it looks fucking great. I guess we'll have to wait and see, so for now, go listen to the live tracks we do have, and the video footage they decided to release. Alright, the second to last performance I'll look at in this video is the band's third appearance on the Letterman show. I always sweat nervously for David Letterman when I come back to his show. Well, the band would play Walking Contradiction at this show, which is fun. And at the end of this performance, Trey just kind of bails and walks up the staircase. Where the hell is he going? So yeah, good performance, I recommend checking it out, and I'm moving on. The last performance I'll look at happened on May 18th, which took place for Saturday Night Special in Los Angeles, California. This was their last performance of 1996, and they gave us some really good performances of Walking Contradiction and Going to Pasalacqua. And it ends with Trey destroying his drum kit. Get used to him doing that. It just becomes more and more chaotic. And just wait until the lighter fluid comes in. And I think that's not just a good way to end 1996, but also this episode of Green Day Live Retrospective. Sorry for the lengthy wait, these videos can be very time consuming to take notes on. For the next episode of the Green Day Live Retrospective, I'm going to be looking at the Nimrod era, which lasted from 1997 to 1999. And hopefully maybe it'll be out in a few months. And you guys won't have to wait like 2 years like last time. Remember how at the start I said this was going to be a supplement episode, but it still ended up being an hour long? Sounds about right. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I tried my best to highlight as many of the big concerts as I could, but if I did miss any shows that you felt I should have mentioned, definitely let me know in the comments. Though maybe don't be a huge smartass about it and be like, here's a show that Cooper missed. Like, I'm sorry I'm not a perfect encyclopedia for live Green Day shows. I try my best, okay? Shout out to Phantom Havoc. That's his YouTube username, but he's also a GDC member who helped look over my notes and even gave me more info to put in this video. We also share a birthday. He was born in 99, I was born in 98, but still, thank you, twin, for your help. Also, I'm glad I'm getting this video out right now because not only is it September, but I'm actually going to see Green Day again on the 11th at the Global Life Field in Arlington, Texas. It's my first time seeing them since 2021, so I'm really excited. Also, yes, I'm seeing them on 9/11. I didn't plan for that. They haven't toured Louisiana in years, so this was the most nearby show I could go to, and the September 10th show sold out. But they are going to be playing Dookie and American Idiot at the show I'm going to, so I can't wait. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in a future episode of the Green Day Live Retrospective, or in anything else I decide to upload next, so take care.